There we go.
Hi, Quinwood. I gotta go to sleep. I'm tired.
Tired. Okay.
If there's any more motorcycles,
we'll get started here in a few minutes, okay?
Document them, okay?
Does somebody need any food?
Do we have any food?
Yeah, if anybody's got food, I would love some food.
Yeah,
I'll eat a steak dinner if that helps.
There's a bag of
Don't rub it
chips.
in, please.
I had jail food.
I don't want jail
What?
food.
Why do I
Eat jail
whisk?
food. I can't hand this to you.
What the?
I don't know if that.
I couldn't hand it to him. He wouldn't
I got
take it.
potato chips.
Thank you.
Please take the chips. Please take
I
my
put
potato
a-
chips, Gab.
I whipped this
Put an
out
energy drink
when
on
I'm
the
driving
table
my
if you need it.
CDPI
Tell you
when
what,
it
I'll just
starts
leave them on the table for you when you're
You
when
just
you're
see it
comfortable.
pokes out
Appreciate that.
it pokes
Thank
out
you.
the roof. It's fucking hilarious. Yeah, it does. It looks perfect.
Going for bit.
Go for bit.
I think this is the most full I've seen this room.
Yeah, I was just thinking about that as well.
Sorry.
You should see it when your mother's in it.
I was about to say, you calling me fat?
Yes.
Does anyone know about the tool sets? Like, are they still like haunted?
Yeah, tool sets are good. I'm gonna remove that
They're good.
announcement.
Okay.
Yeah.
They're good now?
I just read that and I was like wondering
Yeah.
if they're like the last time.
This is all good to go. I'm gonna hit delete.
Okay.
Obviously, the FOIA request, the state announcements, read that. Bolo regarding documenting motorcycles, please. Anytime motorcycles involved, because they are a pain in the ass to chase after with cop cars. So
The company.
if we can form some sort of documentation behind that, so we can start making grounds to try to get support for motor unit.
Yeah, I have.
Archer, have you started putting together a report?
Yeah, I've been adding. So did you see the Slacks? Did you give that thing I gave you to the other captains?
Yeah, I shared it.
I've been adding the incidents regarding motorcycles to that. So there's currently 5 or 6 on there.
If you can make one here in the MDT2 as well, that'd be great.
Yeah, I'll do it tomorrow.
I took a photo of the in case you didn't have it already. Probably did.
Oh, thank you.
Lovely. Thank you for the 12 months. The 1 year. Thank you. Can we get some hearts in chat, please? For Lovely. I would appreciate it. That Wordle's dumb. Oh, shit. Let me see.
All right, we can get started. Hello and welcome everybody. It is another Shift 3 meeting. January 29th, the year 2024. I'm Captain Slacks, joined by my co-host, Captain Turner, of this meeting. And we're going to be discussing a couple things. There's a lot going on. There's a lot happening on our streets, and there's continues to be more crime. It seems like crime never sleeps, and it happens often around the late hours, especially involving multiple gunmen. As of recent, I want to talk about something that's been going on during Shift 2 and Bleach Shift 3. So I do believe it's important to talk about this. There's been ongoing conflict between the company and the LSSU. The company is a group of individuals, I believe they go by the name of Jean Paul, Benji Ramos, and Ray Romanov. That's all I know as far as confirmed from the company. And then Mickey. I haven't seen Mickey in a long time, but he's also part of it. Now, as far as LSSU, I believe the sanitation head is a Lang Buddha, followed by others like a Harry Brown. And there's a lot of folks from the sanitation unit. There's a lot. And there's a lot of folks from the east side that have nothing to do with this conflict. Now, what I got told is this whole thing started because of a bad business deal. For some reason, they didn't see eye to eye. And I'm not sure if it has to do with computer parts, materials, relationships, money. We don't know the exact reason why.
This is dumb.
We know how the conflict is going, but we don't know the precise reason why the conflict started. It's an ongoing investigation. There's a bolo regarding what I talked about too as well. Reference those documents. Get yourself educated on the topic so you know what's going on. So if it does happen during a shift, you're at least very aware of what's transpiring.
Wordle was very dumb.
As far
Okay.
as this conflict,
I feel better
at
doing
times, there's a lot of people involved, maybe up to 12. Sometimes, you have one or two gunmen. And at times, we're not really, we're not very well staffed as far as cop numbers. We're working on that, and obviously, we're getting more as things progress. But a lot of times, you might be in a position or situation to where you're outnumbered, or there's an active threat, and you can't do anything about it because if you go in there, you're also going to become a casualty. So there's no shame in staging, gathering information, trying to figure out what's going on until you get backup, and then from there moving in, right? If we see active gunfire, we're not going to rush in there one by one, piecemeal, and get shot, right? We're going to be very organized and smart about this. I totally understand the reason to run into line of fire to try to protect folks. But at the same time, you also have a duty and responsibility to protect yourself too as well, to make sure that you're okay. Because you're not going to protect those people if you just walk in there and die and get shot. That's one. Two, we need to do a better job of documentations and speaking with everybody involved. We got to pursue charges. Something needs to be done. Either by pushing for raids, either by pushing for, charges on the docket, things like that. We got to find a way to start going after these people. Because it's been going on for a week, and we've had one person die so far, and many more get injured or spend a long time in the hospital. Officers have been injured as well, responding to these calls.
I'm going to get this Wordle, hopefully.
It's been an issue. And it's something that we need to try to tackle. I know that sometimes, we will not have the answer to this problem. But as long as we stay proactive and think about a solution, we can try to stop it in its tracks.
There is also a dossier on the company. We should be trying to keep that updated as much as we can. Another person that wasn't mentioned was Ginger Ale, which I spoke to Jean Paul earlier this morning. She was notated as the head of interns. It seems there's quite a few interns involved, so another point of contact.
The company's got like 40 interns, I'm pretty sure. They had an event at Legion Square Park where there was a lot of people there, and those people could be working for them, or those people could be a target. Now, I'm not saying one side is the victim, one side is the aggressor. I believe both sides are the aggressors. It might have started as one side being the aggressor with the company attacking first, and then LSSU retaliating afterwards. I'm talking about just physical violence. That's a possibility, but violence is coming from both sides, and folks from sides that want nothing to do with it are getting caught in a crossfire, and it's getting very messy.
Little side note on the company from what I've gathered myself. Interns are usually tasked with going out and fulfilling certain roles that is set forth by what I would imagine would be the head of interns, and the one that we spoke to stated they have to go out and show their resourcefulness per se, by either robbing someone, by either stalking someone, getting information on someone, providing things for the company. So if that rings any bells, if you happen to run into them, do keep that in mind. That may be how they're operating.
Yeah, so what I got told too as well from the company is they're pulling up on people in sanitation asking if they're part of the union. And if they're getting robbed, attacked, or shot. So I was debating even doing undercover op where we go and do sanitation as police officers. I mean, Flop, you were involved in an incident, I believe, on the freeway, right?
The one with the Glendale just a minute ago? Before
No, last night.
Last night. Could you jog my memory? I'm sorry.
There was a
The one where
shootout.
Ash Ketchup was shot?
Ash Ketchup.
Oh, yeah. I was off duty for that. I could speak on that if you'd like.
Absolutely. I mean, you were president, so I would love to hear your perspective.
Yeah. Unless you want me to come up, I could just explain it here.
It is up to you.
All right. So I was off duty. I had planned to hang out with Ash one of these days, and it's been about a month, so I finally found time. So we went out to go do sanitation. We made it to one stop. We grabbed garbage, and on our second stop, a black and color Seminole pulled up behind us. It was 2 times occupied, 1 individual. It sounded like John Paul. On the back of the tow truck, it's really hard to see around you, so I couldn't exactly confirm that. But guy was yelling. He was talking to Ash specifically. And then the driver who sounded like John Paul, or the individual who sounded like John Paul, asked the driver to pull over. Obviously, he didn't. And immediately they started shooting the back of the tow truck. I managed to get a chance to call 911. They did shoot Ash. She was incapacitated, and at that point, we luckily had units close to the scene. They immediately fled in that Seminole going eastbound on Del Perro. So they're making these quick stops. They're making these quick hits, and then they're immediately taking off and trying to flee the area. I think one of the most important things, from what it seems like, is to have a unit, or at least 2 units if available, to go to the main scene to get statements and check on everybody that's injured. Anybody else responding, do not go to the direct 911. Maybe try and stay in the outskirts or the vicinity of it, because they seem to be doing these quick hits and then dipping immediately. I don't think you're going to find them on the main scene.
Probably. What I want to stress is we can try to be proactive. Officer presence can deter crime. The streets are patrol presence during times like this. Sanitation. Also, there's a spot that they had multiple shootouts at, and that's Orchard Ave and Labor Place. For some reason, around that place, there's been 2 incidents involving members of either company or LSSU being either found stabbed or shot on scene. So I'm not sure why it continues to happen in the same spot twice, but just keep on lookout for that as well. And
This word is so weird.
let's try to do our part. Let's protect the city. Let's stop these criminals and these bad guys from causing so much havoc and causing so much bloodshed on the streets. Enough is enough. Any questions about that?
You said you wanted to do an undercover op?
I want to, but my fear is it might get more heat toward the sanitation guys. If they find out there's an undercover cop working sanitation, now I'm going to put more targets on sanitation guys who are doing their just normal job, and I don't want to bring more heat toward them when they catch one of us undercover doing sanitation. So I'm debating it.
I don't think it should be one of us. I think it should be a whole trash truck.
That's what I was going to suggest. Getting 4 of us on a trash truck undercover.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, I'm down. If y'all down.
Oh,
Trash is icky.
Oh, I love it.
We just need at least 1 mark unit or 2 to be nearby to watch us. So if they do pull up, somebody can pull up behind them.
It wouldn't be a bad idea.
All right. We'll talk more about it at the meeting. I'll talk to Captain Turner and figure out something.
Yeah.
Any questions? Go ahead. Sorry, Jackson.
I was going to say, if we have a whole truck of 4 of us sanitate, we could also just be giving comms the entire time with things we see, everything we see, fucking just relaying information to marked units constantly.
Exactly.
Can I make a comment on that?
Yeah.
Where if that works and you get 95s, you have to say, looks like we took out the trash.
Oh.
Okay. I'll remember that, McNulty. Don't you worry, okay?
I won't.
Here's the thing, okay?
I did very well.
Here's the thing. I would only do this op if we have enough cops on duty. Like I said, because it's going to pull away some manpower. So,
We got a plenty
how many
here.
officers we have on duty, and looking at how many numbers we have, we'll do it. If not, then it'll have to be another time.
Could I make one quick note, just in general for, I guess, UPT?
Mm-hmm.
So during the chase, I just want to remind people, I'm not pointing fingers. There's really no one to point at. There was a crazy situation before the storm. Make sure if you're primary on a scene and you have a primary suspect, we're calling out who the primary is. Because otherwise what we get is we get a lot of people splitting off. It's important to prioritize one person or, one individual vehicle. If there's someone in the vehicle to prioritize, call that. If not, prioritize the vehicle. Sometimes we have to let people go to maintain comms. Otherwise, we are spreading way too thin. So just make sure that we're relaying that if you have something to make note of. Otherwise, everyone's going to assume who the primary is, and that's when we start to run low.
So, on that subject, are you talking about when the Glendale and the other car split?
There were a couple instances. That was one of them, but there were a couple incidents.
So, this was what my intuition was me and another unit. Who was behind me? I'm drawing a blank.
Me and Avery.
So, We had 2 units chasing that vehicle, and we were not calling comms. And all I said was, "Hey, if we lose them, we lose them at this point, so we could have radio traffic open for the main suspects." But we actually had a chance of getting those guys in Glendale. So, or in that specific scenario, we had a chance at actually getting them. So, captains, how do y'all feel about approaching that situation that way? Do you think that was proper, or do you think we should just full send it on one thing?
It depends on units.
For me, I would rather focus on one thing at a time, due to the fact that we are limited as far as manpower, right? It's just one of those things where you just have to just focus on what we have, make the best out of it. If you do have spare units, maybe send people out there and go after that vehicle, like you said, right? So, but it's best to just divide and conquer.
Divide and conquer?
Yeah, as in, like, focus on one thing at a time instead of the whole thing.
That's the opposite.
That's the opposite.
That's the opposite, Sarah.
Just so we got that clear.
That is not the opposite, okay? I'm dividing the criminals.
sir.
I'm conquering one at a time.
Yes, Captain.
Whatever. Well,
yeah,
yeah,
right.
Captain. Understood,
it, yeah.
Captain.
I get it.
I understand fully.
Yes, sir.
These people gotta learn to say
Sorry.
yes, Captain, for fuck's sake.
All right.
Your opinion?
Well, if it's dividing the criminals and conquering one at a time, all right. Yeah.
Okay.
All right. Any other questions? Okay. So also one thing that I brought up with Flop regarding something is if you have an incident where 8 or more officers are involved, an incident command will be made, and that person is basically the de facto leader for that scene. Everybody should listen to them. If you do not listen to the incident commander during that scene, not only will you be pulled aside and talked to, but you'll be looking at some disciplinary action points. It's done like that for a reason, so we can have one voice, one leader who can guide us, and the other people can be delegate other roles from that person. And obviously that person can delegate any role they want. And if they go down, they can delegate somebody else to take their position and lead.
It's going to default to the next person. It should be chain of command. So it should be based on the highest rank on scene up to sergeant. So right now, seniors are our highest, so it'll default to a senior. Senior should take control of that scene. Whether it's their scene or not, if they need to get information, they need to ask mid-scene. Get a quick sit rep as to what's going on and start making sure that things are being handled. That doesn't mean you have to go in there and start telling people exactly what to do, but you need to be willing and able to get on that radio and start telling people, hey, okay, we need people at this spot. Give me some call signs. We need people at this spot. Give me some call signs. So and so. You continue that pursuit. Stay on
He
that
said
vehicle.
the word
We're gonna go
sergeant,
ahead
and I'm
focus on getting
scared.
rid of this vehicle, documenting this.
Up to sergeant.
You're there to oversee the
What are you
situation.
saying?
When we have ICS involved in an incident, it's to ensure a situation and all aspects of it are being handled. That's your goal with ICS. It's to look a big picture, not to necessarily always go hands-on with a foot chase, with everything. It's to oversee the overall operation of it. So it's something, again, we haven't used a lot of. It's a new system. There's going to be errors with it. There's going to be learning and growing pains with it. So understand that. We haven't been able to train it too much because it's something that needs to be trained in field.
Yeah, there'll be some growing pains with Incident Commander. It's not a completely polished system. And it's like that about a reason, because it was hard to try to practice what's going to happen here when drafting SOPs. So it's one of those things we left for us to kind of just polish as we go. So feedback for that when it happens is more than welcome. All right. If there's no issues with that, that's good. Any other questions regarding what's going on?
Is it like essentially like a general? Just kind of
Basically.
commanding the units and stuff like that?
Basically. Right. So that person is basically responsible for the incident, and their job is to delegate roles, to call the shots. They make all the calls.
Oh my God, I forgot about this.
If Flop, for example, like I talked to him, if I made him an incident command, he can overrule me when it comes to something like that during the incident, and I got to talk to him about it afterwards.
If you have a problem with what they're doing, unless it's a direct safety issue, that may not be prevalent to him, because he has to work off the ICS. The incident commander needs to work off of the information provided to him. until he's able to see it himself. Mention it and leave it be. He decides to run it that way, and deal with it afterwards, not in the middle of the call.
Yeah, do not argue in a call, right? And there needs to be also information supplied to the ICC.
That was a stupid.
The incident command
Yes.
lead, as far as what's going on in SITREP, and then from that person to make that call, and for not arguments to happen over the radio. You want to 25 with that person, talk to them, provide information. That's fine. Also, utilize 311. I cannot stress how important.
I don't know why I
a lot
didn't
of
do
times
this.
we all want to talk on the radio, and it happens often, and we end up talking over each other. Use 311 information like license plates, name of suspects, how many suspects we have, what we're looking, bolos, things like that. While important traffic is going through the radio, so we get the best of two worlds. And that way we're not interrupting.
I don't
comms
know.
at the
This
same
is a
time.
hard one.
I would say, Captain Slacks, if I may, just to add to that, it might be wise for us to throw out any comms that is like an active thing, such as, hey, I got 195, right? So you have the 95, you're going to keep having the 95, right? So if you throw it out on a 311, then anytime anybody checks their 311s, they can be like, hey, did we get the guy? Boom. Okay, yeah, we got
Flop
him.
mentioned.
So you
Yeah,
don't need to ask
I
on
think
the
Flop
radio,
might be
and
one of the
that
first people
keeps
who
things
was put
clear
to incident command for
the rest of the
situation. I was kind of ran through the ringer there. I'm not really sure, but
that's all I had.
All right, Turner. Anything
I
else? to
tried.
add?
That situation, no.
All right. That's all I got as far as announcements.
Have we already talked about the announcement with boots?
Woo, love it.
New legislation around boots.
There
All of
is?
y'all pull out your MDTs. Go to legislation.
Really? Okay.
Somebody find it and start reading it out loud. I don't care who.
Coco, you read it, since you crash so often.
Oh
Actually,
my
for a while.
god!
Okay, you're.
That's
It's
unbelievable.
not. It's not always an ejection. It was
I didn't
a plain.
ask. I didn't ask.
You back talking to the
Read it.
captain?
No, of course not. I'm looking for it. Isn't it? Is it under legislation?
It is.
We not listening?
Oh,
Yeah, I said
Wow.
you said under legislation. I'm just not saying anything but toe clamps. I thought you said. Okay, got it. This piece of legislation is intended to define the parameters for legal use of a toe clamp, otherwise known as
I got $20 on him.
polio quality as a boot. Use a boot outside of these parameters will result in the change of criminal misuse of a towing clamp being applied to the offender. There are only two instances of when the use of a boot is legal: when the vehicle or item is booted.
Yes, sir.
Be quiet while he's talking it.
oh
When
my god! How do you pronounce
one-
that?
Number one, when the vehicle or item
Colloquially?
being booted is abandoned on your personally owned private property, this does not apply to places of employment such as Senior Buns or Mosley's.
Stop.
When the
Tips. Read number 2.
When the vehicle or item is being booted, has been marked for tow, and you are carrying out contracted tow duties, whether through the local tow dispatcher or a private personally owned property, we're calling for removal.
Stop. Next bulletin point. Read it, Mateo.
Sorry, let me speak up.
Who's Mateo?
In the back here, sir. Tow workers must photograph the state of the legally parked vehicle they were sent/called to tow.
Stop. Lavender. Read the next one.
The boot must only be used to prevent an
like
owner
I'm back
of
in
the
school.
illegally parked vehicle moving it or otherwise interfering during the tow process.
Stop. Pinzone. Next line.
Police vehicles are exempt from being booted. Any booting of a government vehicle, PDEMS, will be deemed an unlawful use of the equipment.
And then Avery, the last line.
Enacted on behalf of the inaugural City Council by Chief Justice Alan Crane.
All right.
So now I'm going to direct y'all to the charges list. Look up clamp. Criminal misuse of a towing clamp. Clover, you want to read that one to us?
Yep. As soon as
Speak
my
up.
MDT wants to help me.
You might have to open up a new tab. Look up clamp.
Yeah. Give me 1 second.
Look up clam, not clamp.
Clam?
Yeah.
Clam. CLAM.
Criminal misuse of a towing clamp. Anyone who uses the towing clamp to immobilize another person's vehicle or private property not in accordance with the legislation entitled Tow Clamps NU will be guilty of criminal misuse of a towing clamp.
There we go. We got legislation around tow clamps. Police vehicles are exempt from being booted. Any booting of a government vehicle constitutes that charge. Now, that doesn't mean you abuse this, right? That doesn't mean you park wherever you want and whatnot, right? Don't be abusing your where you can park police vehicles. Okay, if you respond to a scene, leave your lights on. Make sure your door's locked. It's gonna look real bad if they end up clamping your vehicle for whatever the case may be, or end up bringing this to us. Your vehicle's illegally parked and they got inside and turned the lights off. Lock the door. Not too hard. Important. Lock your doors.
The legislation implies that we are exempt from the clamp, not that we're exempt from illegal parking.
Right.
You know?
So, no matter what, they boot your vehicle, it's a charge against them. You still should not be parking anywhere you want, though.
Now, can I ask a question in relation?
Yeah.
Say our vehicle is booted or clamped, and we don't know who it was. How should we be proceeding?
I mean, you don't have a charge for it. You don't have a charge for it.
No, that's fair.
Or a person in
I would
charge.
investigate it. I mean, if that's happening often, maybe we set up like a trap car and try to catch that criminal doing that.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah. Conwood, you got something?
That was an accident.
All right.
There was that
speed limits. I don't know if we covered that last night. Did we cover that last night, Slacks?
I believe I went over it.
We'll go over it one more
briefly.
time. So, under legislation, updated speed limits. City limits, 55. County roads, which is Route 68, Joshua, and Sustancia. Those are the 3 county roads right now. 75. And we have amended definition for the 90 miles an hour, which is highway and freeways. It said freeways only, or I believe highways only. Didn't cover freeways. So now it covers freeways as well. It's 90 miles an hour.
Matt
There's
Rose
also a
out here
change
fucking
in
it.
the price of speeding violations, as
The
well as
citation,
narrowing down the speeds in which you could charge them at. Instead of it being 55 plus, I believe it used to be for first degree, it's now 30, higher than 30, so 31 plus.
Yeah, so 86 and above instead of 91.
Yeah.
And it's $1,000 fine now for first degree, 600 for second, 300 for third. So
Yeah, the clocked someone today going 121 miles per hour.
Ooh, that was a bad day.
Clocked them. Logged it as evidence. He evaded. Caught him. So I was like, you know what? I went through the stages of he's got the first degree speeding, which led to the reckless evading charge, turned into a $2,550 ticket.
Yeah. Yeah, reckless evading also has been increased.
Ooh.
If you take a look, it is a heavy
It
fine.
is. Yep.
Speeding is no joke. Speeding is no joke. I mean, you probably
this
can
is
dig
kinda-
out. You can probably go ahead, sorry, Trader, what you saying?
Oh, I was gonna say this is kind of whatever, but what's the difference between a highway and a freeway?
Couple of letters.
Yeah, right.
Duh.
Okay, fair enough.
I'm not sure what the exact
One of them is very free.
verbiage is, but
No, they're the same thing.
Isn't it how many cross lanes there are?
I don't know what the definition of the two are.
I'm pretty sure they're not the same. Isn't a highway
There's-
bigger versus a
there's-
freeway, which is more like a smaller highway, basically?
It has to do with payment, but it doesn't really apply in the city. So like a freeway, it doesn't. Freeway you have to pay for. A highway you don't. It's free. I know that's backwards, but like
I believe
all of
Route
ours are technically
68.
yeah.
Route 68 was also considered a highway.
Like in other cities, but here everything's free.
At one
Call
point.
those toll roads?
No, those are different. That's an add-on to a freeway that you have to pay for.
That's a fucking road.
Hey, he ain't wrong.
Well, either way, we got highway and freeway defined, or we could think roads for that one.
I think
Yeah.
what I find funny
That's
is
a
I know a
fucking
lot of the
road.
city is very happy now that like they don't have to go 35. I don't think a lot of the city quite understands how fast the rest of the city is still going and how quickly they are about to lose money.
Yeah.
Well, here's what I'm learning.
Se-
People have way the hell more money than I thought they did. Is what I'm starting to realize after talking to some folks.
Well, a lot of folks have been working a lot of jobs. Especially Group 6 is the highest paying job brand in the city, apparently. That one is the moneymaker, as far as I know.
It'll make the laws, we enforce them, right? So people give you a hard time out there.
Yeah, based off the
Talk
changes
to your
in-
council members.
And based off the changes and everything, I was going to say there's going to be a lot of second-degree speeding.
Yeah,
fucking tickets
and
thrown
just a
out there.
reminder, first degree speeding is 86 miles per hour in the city limits.
Yeah.
And
there's
that's
one
not
more
a
thing,
lot.
Turner. The civilian oversight. I don't know if
Hang
you-
on.
Okay.
Lavender had a question about the last situation.
I did, and it's something that we acknowledged beforehand with the speed limits in general, but county roads being not without Sonora Way included, is that something that is a later, or is that just it's not a county road, period?
So we brought it to Nakota to bring to the council, which
Okay.
was that we want better definitions as to what county roads are defined as, and they have 3 roads that are specifically on there. They added one more. So at this point, I would say county roads are those 3 roads. Everything
Okay.
else would fall under city, and then if it's a highway or a freeway, then it falls under highway or freeway. So I would say default if it doesn't fall under a highway or freeway. Or
I guess what I'm confused about is why was the question brought up? Because it says highways and freeways. If you're on a way that's not in the city or
Right. Any
a
questions
country
about
road,
speeding?
I don't know.
Go for it, Slacks.
Keep in mind that it's not fully fleshed out. It's kind of just the conversation we had so far. So the civilian oversight, or the civilian oversight board, there's ongoing conversation regarding that. And like we've stated before, these are going to be a board of civilians or members of Los Santos without any felonies, of course, who are going to be part of this board who investigates outrageous or gracious claims of officers, their misconduct, corruption, misuse of authority, and the list goes on. And if from there they do their internal investigations, they are going to try to summon people for hearings to where they can ask a police officer questions and things like that. But obviously, whenever a claim is being made against you, you have the right to remain silent and not say anything.
West
of course, but
Virginia,
just in general,
Mountain
as far as what this is going to be all about,
Mama.
it's not going to be able to punish y'all.
If
it's gonna be
people
able
are
to
VOD watchers,
recommend
they're gonna be
the
so
punishment
confused.
as far as what's going on. So I wouldn't want to have everybody who's stressed out too much about something like that. I don't think it's going to be something that is going to be a big problem, in my personal opinion, because if there's something going on within the PD, I firmly believe that myself and the captains would act on it right away without the need of somebody else telling us to do our job. But it's something there to make sure that we are working in the best interest of the public. We are doing our best to be those public servants who are trying to protect and serve the members and the civilians of Los Santos. And that is something that needs to happen because there needs to be a standard of integrity, of honesty, accountability, transparency, and so on. So any questions regarding that? Go ahead, McNulty.
Right, you're saying people who don't have felonies will be part of the board. What if someone on the board has ties to a criminal organization, but
That's a
is
really good
a
question.
clean civilian? Like,
They
let's
got
say,
someone end up bringing to the head of bar, and that's gonna be something for them to deal with.
And they'll have elections every 90 days. So every
Yeah,
90 days, they'll have to.
That's a
be
good question
elected.
for
It's not
McNulty.
guaranteed once they make it. the
Good night,
first time.
Jenny. You take care.
Okay.
I mean, there's a lot of good people. I think Rami's running for city council.
No,
or not city council. Civilian council.
So there was a conversation with Moulton about that. Our fear was it's going to be a lot of lawyers, that also, dabble in other interests and have other clients. He said that they might be talking about having a limitation of how many lawyers can be on the board and how many civilians that are non-lawyers as well. That way it can be a mix of different people from different backgrounds and not to have it all be one kind of just faction of people that are running this board.
Any questions about it?
Like I said, they cannot punish you. They cannot, pursue criminal charges. They're there to recommend it.
To us, they're gonna recommend punishments to us based on their findings. They're gonna reveal their findings to us, and we'll be looking at it. It's not going to be a civilian board that goes directly to punishing. We'll be reviewing them.
Yeah, my fear as well to them was this going to turn into a witch hunt, right? Go ahead, Pinzone.
I have a couple questions actually. So when you say that, the civilian board, let's say there's like a complaint, right? The civilian board is it? Yeah, and you said you had the right to remain silent. Is it basically a trial?
It's a hearing.
It's a hearing. Okay.
Like, you know those congressional hearings that happen where you show up and you have to not almost testify, because I want to use the word testify, because no Miranda rights will be used, right? But you're gonna be providing your statement on the matter as far as what happened, right? It's like when you come talk to me and the captains about an incident that happened between you and
Look how pretty these watches are.
Your conduct with somebody else, or if somebody comes down here and makes a complaint.
The moon
about
phase
an
one is
officer, right?
kind of cool.
Okay. Yeah.
Go for it. Go for it.
I was gonna ask that. Does that mean
That looks so cool.
So let's say like day to day,
It shows you the moon phase on the
You have a traffic
watch.
stop that happens. Let's say that someone makes a complaint that an officer was
That's so cool.
verbally abusing a civilian, right, in that traffic stop. Does that mean that it's gonna be a he said she said moment, or like what what's the what is the civilian board gonna be
that's
taking
pretty.
care of like officer complaints in that degree?
Hold on.
Or
Okay.
They're gonna be doing
Still,
their own internal investigation.
but not as.
Personally speaking, I'm not gonna be looking at what they're doing. I'm gonna be looking at us all the time and making sure that we do better, right?
How
We don't
pretty
need
that
somebody from
is.
outside to tell the PD, hey, poke us this and say, hey, do better. Hey, you guys are not listening. Hey, you got officers that are basically shitheads. Do something about them, right? They're there to just recommend things. And I'll be honest, okay? And I'm gonna say this as nice as possible. Whenever I have a conversation with everybody here in the PD about our reputation, about who we are, what we're all about, when you go out there and you misrepresent the LSPD and the values and the principles behind it, you're affecting everybody involved in the police department. And on top of it, we do have a seat in a round table, being the city council. And a lot of times, the changes that do need to get done is through the city council. And when the police department is not doing a really good job of delivering on what it promises on as far as protection.
Hey, I'm in a meeting right now. What's going on?
Oh, nothing is fine. I was just checking on you.
No, I'm all good. Are you guys okay?
Oh, I'm okay. I just wanted to make sure you're okay because you seemed a bit flustered earlier.
No, so to explain what happened, we had like 15 people all at once. I'm just gonna be blunt with you. We had a bunch of people being chased. We had like 15 911s come through at the same time. Everybody was screaming on the radio, and the captain turned to me and said, "Hey, everyone on the radio, Flop is running this whole thing. You listen to everything he says." So when I came to talk with you, everybody kept asking me questions, and I was like, I just need 5 seconds to. Get out of here, Rod.
That sounds stressful.
No. Do not enter. Get the fuck out. No.
We're not dogs.
Rod, get the fuck out of here. Get out of here.
I'll let you go, but I just wanted to make sure you're okay. I appreciate you coming to help us.
Yeah, of course, not a problem. Not a problem. I'll call you back.
Okay, bye.
All right, bye-bye.
Once we get it.
Okay.
It's just a heads up. Things are moving along as far as that discussion. It's not something you should be scared of, right? If you do your job, you got nothing to worry about.
Dude, this watch is so fucking pretty, though.
Yeah, there'll be protections in place and protect people from
my
witch hunts
God.
and from
I'm geeking over a fucking watch right now. God.
And like I said, it's gonna be recommendations. No one's gonna enforce what they are recommending. We're gonna review it independently as captains and make sure.
Is that not a
whatever
gorgeous
they're
watch?
recommending has
Do it.
grounds for
You think I got $1,000 on hand right now? That's crazy.
But they will be looked at, and if wrongdoing did take place, we will act on it.
As simple as that. Yep.
I think this
Any
is
other
on my list of
questions
watches. I'm
regarding
not gonna lie.
It is very vital that we do our due diligence to make sure that we stand on the
Is she
principles
for a
and values
watch?
we talked about. Like I said,
Yeah,
if we want to be the
it is,
champions
but
of protecting
still,
civilians
that's still
and doing the right thing, we gotta
$1,000.
lead by
You know what I
example.
mean?
I get it. There's a lot
Yes,
of
it
things
is
out
cheap
there
for
completely out of
like
our
a
control.
quality watch, but
What
it
we
is
can
still
react, what
$1,000
we
watch.
Control at the end of the day and make the best out of it.
Sell the
And
futon.
things will get better.
God, you're right. I should
promise
just
you
sell
that.
a futon. You deserve it. I appreciate it. I'm down the road. Down the
Anything
road.
else we talk about? Okay. And then you're all dismissed. Thank you.
Thank you, captains.
Wait, I did have one more thing. I had
Okay,
one more thing.
what is it? What is it?
This is really, really, really bad. It's a big, big bad thing. Some people are going around and they're mass requesting impounds on a bunch of legally parked vehicles at one time. And I spent like 2 hours investigating this shit earlier today, trying to get to the bottom of it. And the systems over that, I mean, hell, I'm not the tow manager, right? But there is no tow manager that talks to anybody, right? This tow manager is a big corporate son of a bitch, doesn't talk to nobody, right? So
sell the Starfield watch. That's not a bad idea.
people are getting their shit towed for no reason, either from tow truck drivers going in there and trying to round up a bunch of shit and tow it so that they get paid, or from random folks, random civilians just running around trying to harass folks. So if you see or hear anything about that, and they have a way of tracking who actually issued the tow, because what's been happening is the people getting towed have been shooing away the tow truck drivers, but somebody needs to get towed in order to actually see who issued it. Otherwise, there's no record of it having been towed at all. So if you issue it and the job don't get completed, they don't know. So long story short, if this gets reported to you, try and find out who issued that tow. We'll take their state ID and we'll take care of that son of a bitch, because this is like, to me, like an egregious misuse of like just the tools at your disposal in the city. It's really bad.
Have impound fees changed at all?
They're expensive as shit.
Unless I heard they're 12 to 40,000.
I brought this up to Dakota, to the city council. What you said exactly. The people will be able to do that. So hopefully something can be done soon.
Yeah, I wrote a couple emails up to the state about it. So
all right,
we'll see what happens.
Actually, I got one question as well. With the legislation on the boots, have we heard anything about the commercial vehicles?
Oh, yes. There's going to be... Oh, you remind me, actually. This is not in yet, but there's going to be a new legislation coming in for commercial traffic, commercial license. This is going to be amazing. And Dakota brought up how we'll have to be taught and, trained how to deal with something like that in order to issue citations for overweight.
What's up, Fran? How you doing? Good morning.
Impounding vehicles. That are
Oh,
overweight
my
as well.
gosh.
I mean, do we really want to? I mean, who's to judge overweight?
Us.
You.
Yeah, but
we are experts at judging.
You're about to learn what is overweight, what
Overweight.
is not.
Oh, yeah.
Great talk. Great
Wow.
What the hell? That's a bad
Jesus
example.
Christ.
Hey, also, this reminds me. I made a report. Last thing, it is report number 1337. That's a place where you can post photos and good shit for us to put on projector, because we're one big happy family and we got to keep people happy. Okay, just fun moments, funny shit that you see, stuff that you want to throw in there for people to have and talk about later on. We have that there.
That's a good one.
Fuck yeah, perfect.
Yeah, there you go.
1337, you said?
Yeah, get a load of that, brother.
Yeah.
What'd you say?
What?
Get a load of... Did you just say get a load of that, brother?
I
Who
did.
said that to you?
Yeah, we need to throw that one in there. I like that one.
Oh, sure. I'll get that in there.
We've been in here way too long. Let's get the hell out there.
Yeah, well, y'all dismiss. Just go.
Cap Slash, can I talk to you real quick? I'll keep it. I'll keep
Pledge
it brief.
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America.
I got things to turn
To the republic for which.
Hey, when is the Murphy Braun case?
Tuesday. So,
Oh, shit.
Yeah, it's
Okay.
Tuesday at 7 p.m. EST. I don't want to keep you too long because I know that we just had an hour-long meeting. I think we touched up on a lot. I don't know how often you guys are pushing incident command as it comes up. I don't know how often it's been used in the field yet. I was looking for any maybe suggestions on improvement, any criticism. stuff like that.
No, you did great. Incident command is something that will be utilized more when we get more cops on duty, and hopefully that can happen sooner than later, right?
Yeah.
But it's something to just help clutter all the bullshit, and to define one sole leader for one incident, so there's no confusion as who's calling the shot and who's doing who. A lot of times there seems to be a problem, and we play a game of hot potato with leadership.
Yeah, I noticed that a lot, and that's what was happening. Was no one was calling a primary suspect, no one was calling a primary vehicle. People were just calling, oh, see the Glendale, oh, see the bike, oh, see, and I was like, we have 3 chases going on and 5 cops. So I jumped in after the first shitstorm ended. I pulled everyone to 2 to not pull people off the streets, and I was like, hey, I need everyone to realize we need to focus one target. We are 1 unit at the moment. We can only prioritize 1 person at a time. And then right after we ended that and everyone was clear and good with that, you hopped on channel 2, and everybody I just spoke to went right back to doing the same thing. And I was like, all right, this has to come to an end. So I wanted to just bring that up with you. Because I know we're going to see that a lot more from events moving forward. Obviously, as people get access to other stuff, they're going to probably want to abuse the law. And we're going to see more of this, I think. So I wanted to just prioritize the people to make sure that we're making note of like who is the primary, who is the person that we need to be focusing, call out who we're focusing, and if we can, keep it to 1 chase at a time for now.
Absolutely. And I like the fact that you and the other series are stepping up when it comes to this, because somebody has to be the voice of reason in the room. A lot of times we get caught up in a moment. We get caught up in tunnel too much on the suspects or what's happening in front of us, and I realize, hey, slow down. Let's you know, stop a little bit and gather what we have, make the best out of it, and then move on to the next one. Because if we spread ourselves too thin, then nothing will get done.
Exactly. That's my concern. Because the moment we have an officer hurt, then we lose everything. Because we have to break off of everything and prioritize that 1 person.
Exactly. Right.
So
I'm right there with you. And like I said, I was very happy the way you commanded things. And
use that
you
word.
were the first person I made incident command as a trial to see how it goes, because we had a lot of officers involved.
Well, awesome. I'm glad I was able to at least hold up to what you were expecting and hoping for. I just wanted to make sure, try and, assess for myself moving forward, because I know that that's going to happen again. So.
Well, all right.
All
Happy
good.
to provide feedback, and thank you, Flop.
Yeah, not a problem, Cap. Thank you.
I'll saw you through one. I'm going to talk to her right now.
Hey, Cornwood.
How you doing?
Oh my God. So much going on. So much
Yeah,
going
that
on.
last hour was a nightmare.
Yeah, I
You
got
know, honestly, it wouldn't have been as bad if it wasn't for the rain. Rain was, holy shit.
Yeah, it sounded like a local just fucked up.
That was bad.
Yeah. I think overall last hour was a shit show, but I tried to step up because Slacks wasn't on the radio, and then when Slacks got on the radio, he didn't know what was going on, so he's like, all right, let's prioritize. And I'm like, Slacks, we've been dealing with it for 45 minutes. We just need to prioritize one thing. There's so much going on right now, so.
No, I think we did good overall.
I think we locked it in.
There was a point where you and I had the exact same. I was like, holy shit, everybody's talking at the same time.
Yep. Yeah.
And I just stopped talking.
I noticed.
To let people finish, and then you stepped in and were like, yo, let's stick to this. So.
Yeah.
I think it was good.
I think that was important, because the problem is you have 4 people saying information, and out of the 4, 1 of them has something important to say. The other 3 are just information, and I was like, no, break. This is not happening. So.
Yeah, no. I think amongst our current group of people that we have, I feel like there's a pretty strong mutual respect amongst a lot of folks. So I don't think nobody takes it too harshly about being able to do or say certain things, because it's like, okay, we all kind of trust each other on that.
Yeah, definitely.
And then and everybody kind of knows their strengths and their weaknesses, and people are real. I think the group that we have now is really damn good about that, not letting their damn ego get in the way of shit.
No, definitely. I'm stepping in where I have to, but even I pulled everyone to channel 2 after the first shit show, and I was like, hey, listen, no one's being called out. Just make sure that we are spreading too thin. Make sure we're prioritizing 1 at a time. Quick sit rep. Let's make sure we're all, lock and keyed. We're listening to radio. Let's have 1 person call a primary, and let's continue doing what we're doing. Is that clear? And everyone's like, yep, we're good. And it got a little hiccupy there after, but everybody, I think, kind of remembered and reminded themselves, and I think we all humbled each other and locked it in for the last half of that shit show. So
Yeah, I mean that's the
I think
first
it went
time we've
good.
had anything like that in
Exactly.
years. you know?
Exactly. That's why I'm not too
I mean,
harsh
hell,
on
I'll be
anybody.
honest. I personally hadn't had anything like that in
Oh,
terms
no, me neither.
of the. I heard that kind of shit was happening all the time, but I didn't deal that shit didn't really happen that much at the beginning of my time here, whenever I was around. So
Yeah, no, I was sort of making this point to myself before the government collapsed. That was what it was. Whenever there was an incident, it was like all hands on deck. Every fucking officer was on a call because we would have so many interference and it would just be insane. And I got to that crazy point. It's been what, 5 years since then? So a lot of people I know are kind of stepping back into the muddy waters of what it was, and I think only a few of us know what that was like. And I think to have those moments to like, I don't think anyone should be getting in trouble for being a little overwhelmed in that. I mean, shit, I was overwhelmed too, but I think
if you weren't, I'd be shocked.
Yeah,
to some degree.
Yeah, no, it was definitely overwhelming. That's why I delegated some people to do some things. Like Bones, I was like, hey, Bones, you're in an interceptor. Prioritize, focus the chase. I'm focusing on statements right now. If you go down, if something happens, Slacks, you're taking over. And I just started putting people in place.
Yeah, I mean, shit.
That was too much to handle at once. You know what I mean?
Yeah. You know what's crazy?
What's up?
Is you heard me on the radio right before it all went down, right?
You did say something. I don't recall exactly what it was, but what was it?
I saw them drive on through Davis, cut right, and I see two cars just flying down the road.
You were like, this looks like a convoy, or like a
Yeah,
search
and I'm
party.
like, okay, this is not gonna be good. I saw it was Benji Ramos. I'm like, oh, you gotta be shitting me. So I literally said right beforehand, I was like, you know what? I guarantee you this is what's gonna happen. They're going out. They're trying to get back at these sons of bitches because especially Ramos was just at
he's a hothead
at the damn hospital. Yeah, I knew damn well 100% that exactly what happened was about to happen.
Oh, 100%. I knew it was going to happen on El Rancho.
What do we do to stop it?
We need units. Honestly, we need to prioritize one at a time, and because what's going to happen is they're all on the phone with each other. I know this because we had 2 Glendales. So while we were talking to Benji, I looked behind and I radioed to you. I said, let's get the hell out of here, because I looked behind and I saw
they're about to roll up on
yeah,
us.
at least 4 people on cell phones between 3 cars. I said, no. I was like, something is about to go down here. And I think the call for the 32 was good. I didn't even think about it, but your call for the 32 was good to not go to it. It didn't matter because they still went to where we expected them to go. And I think
I just thought, sure as shit, why would they pull it out while we're there?
Yeah,
You know?
no, that was definitely like something to be in question about. I would just leave that for what it was. The best thing I can say is we focus one person. They're all communicating with each other, which means at some point, one's gonna bail the other one out, and we saw that in practice. We saw that happen. They're not gonna leave anyone behind. So if we focus one person and we get as many units on that one person and have people on standby for interference, at that point, they're all gonna consolidate, and we can try and pinch them all, or focus on the same person, right? So.
Yeah.
In this
No, I
situation,
think,
well, go ahead.
Well, I was just gonna say, I do think me and I think it was Coco and Avery were in a car.
Yeah.
So I think us going and following that, we were on his ass, no comms for like 4 to 5 minutes.
Yeah. No, that's
like that.
good.
That's probably the best I had ever driven ever, especially with the weather like that. And yeah, that was no, actually, I think the rain hadn't hit yet. Yeah.
Probably not. I don't think it did.
Yeah, the rain hadn't hit yet. Then the rain started hitting, and then it just shit show. I switched cars because I think my car had I think the turbo in my car was too big for the rain, actually.
Probably. I mean, shit, it wouldn't surprise me. A lot of wheel spin in the rain. It gets a little crazy. It's like Tokyo Drift.
Yeah, I mean, the only car that seemed like it was running decent in the rain at all was the Interceptor.
Yeah.
Yeah, I grabbed the Interceptor to bring it to Bones because like I knew we had one Interceptor. I'm like, shit, I'm not driving this shit.
Definitely.
Like, okay,
Yeah, no, hell no.
give that to a Bones or one of them guys.
Definitely. Let me answer this real quick. I don't know who this
Yeah,
is. My
take
caller
it.
ID is not working. Hello.
Hello.
River's calling me too. I gotta call him.
Raiders, it's you.
Yeah.
Hey, what's up? How you doing?
Oh, yeah, you know.
I miss you.
Oh, really?
Yeah, definitely.
Why'd you say it like that?
No, I do. Where have you been?
What you doing? Oh yeah, you know.
Well, right now I'm just debriefing with Cornwood about the shit show that happened before Storm. But you wanna ride?
Yeah.
Okay. Perfect. Let me finish up with what I'm saying with Cornwood, and I'll call you right back and let you know when I'm ready.
Okay.
All right.
Well, I don't. Well, quickly. What's the car situation like? You know, it's been a hot minute.
In terms of availability,
Yeah.
I've had 2 or 3 days in a row now where I have been unable to have a free CVPI.
Oh. Okay.
So if you have a CVPI, feel free to grab one, or before we lose it.
Okay. Wait, is that? I see some higher end models in here. Is that
I got word that the higher ended models are down the road, probably not going to be utilized for recent. I saw slacks in one today, but I think that was it.
Oh, okay. Okay.
So,
All right.
Let me
All
wrap up my debrief, and I'll call you, and
you're good.
we'll run it.
Yeah.
All right, I'll talk to you soon.
All right. See ya.
Bye-bye. 99 mil turbos? I'm sorry, what?
Wait, what happened?
Malachi's advertising 99 millimeter turbos for sale.
Yeah, no worries. I mean, yeah, I think we just got to get the right people in the civilian oversight board, and whoever is in there that is a bad person, we make sure they are known to be a bad person.
Oh my gosh.
It's that simple.
I thought you guys were on the phone with each other for a second.
No. We both got calls.
You're all good. We'll see ya.
You guys were stopping talking when the other one was talking, so I was like, oh, maybe they're on the phone.
Oh,
with each
really?
other. Yeah.
That was unintentional.
It's real convenient.
I'm terrified of the civilian oversight shit.
Yeah, I didn't think much about the civilian oversight shit until who was it that McNulty asked and was like, what about people who are associated on the board? And I thought about it. I was like, fuck, that's actually terrifying.
I'm telling you, these sons of bitches, we already know. Everybody knows. We found all the manifestos. We found the damn. We just see it. I mean, it's these guys. They work sanitation, they work bullshit. They do whatever the hell, and they go up high in their civilian jobs, but they're pieces of shit. They're criminals, and you know for a fact there's people that don't want to do crime that would do absolutely anything to get the approval of these sons of bitches who are at the top. They will do absolutely anything. It's going to be corrupted so damn fast. I'm telling you, it's the worst.
Is that the oversight board?
Worst idea. Yes, it's the worst idea. I can't even imagine. I don't even know how somebody made that. I don't know who had that idea. I actually think coming up with that idea is just completely brain dead.
Yeah,
I'm gonna be honest with you.
I don't see. Here's the thing. What is the civilian board going to do that the DOJ board is not going to do, or the mayor side isn't going to hear, right? Because the mayor hears the civilian anyway.
It's bullshit. I'm telling you,
I don't see the benefit.
There is no benefit. It's some bullshit put in place off the precedence of what I heard happen while I was gone, where apparently every damn person in the city hated the police. You know what? They hate us now. But you know why? It's because nobody's getting convicted of any damn crimes, and everybody's getting stabbed and nobody responds to anything because we have no units. And we can't do anything because we keep being told we can't push certain things.
Yeah.
Because we don't have hard evidence, and it's all he said, she said. I'm telling you, this whole system, no, I don't understand how there's not somebody that is in the right position who doesn't just look at the shit and say, there's an obvious issue here, and it's driving me damn nuts at this point. It blows my damn mind. How does nobody have a damn bird's eye view of this shit?
I think it's important to the only way the civilian board would ever work is if the extensive background check was also covered under our investigation of certain people.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, it would have to be a small group of people. And the question is, if a name comes up during an investigation, how is that going to affect the board if